It's wild to me that like Fourth Wing is technically YA and this is 18 plus.
That's what I'm saying. People are so harsh and critical on BL, and it reeks of homophobia.
Hello and welcome to Girls, Gays, Animes, where it is safe to love what you love and love who you love. I am your host, Valsaraptor. I am so excited to have a very special guest with me today. I have Courtney from Delusional Boyfriend Bookclub. She is the mind brain creator, queen, host of Delusional Boyfriend Bookclub. I honestly don't know how she does it all. It's simply it's becoming such a brand and like really an empire, and so I'm gonna let her talk to her in a minute, but just thank you so much for coming on today.
I'm so excited to be here. This is when I was looking for like a BL podcast or an anime podcast, and I started digging into the internet. You popped up, and I was like, that was exactly what I was looking for. Somebody my age who is like got the same kind of, I don't know, taste and eye for fun, who is talking about all the stuff I want to be talking about. And so I don't know, that was over a year ago now that I found your account.
Year ago. That's crazy.
It's crazy, and it's been so fun to watch you grow and then simultaneously be able to start a podcast and get your advice, especially lately on sound equipment and stuff. It's been really fun to find other people in this niche who are not just consuming stuff but creating stuff. So I'm so happy to be here.
Yay! And I'm so excited because you agreed to come on and talk about Boyfriends, the Webtoon series.
This is
Yay!
one of my favorites, and I didn't realize how much I was going to like it until I brought it home from Barnes & Noble's, and it is so beautifully colored. The pastels are so cute. And then when I started posting about it, I realized that there's this whole discussion in the internet around this series that I thought was so fluffy and innocuous, but it's been really interesting to try to enjoy this fandom and also like seek refuge from all the people who have controversial opinions about it. So like I've got a little Boyfriends t-shirt on today, and it's one
Show me. Ah, it's so cute, and they have their little like flags tattooed on their face. Oh my gosh, it's so cute.
So it's fun. It's funny. It's definitely a line that I walk of trying to enjoy my fandom and like what I like and love what I love, like you guys always say, and also just trying not to like anger the hordes on the internet, because they really come out. When people get on a hate train, they can really get on a hate train. So I'm so happy to like spread my love for the series and talk about it with somebody who's open-minded, because it does seem like there's a lot of people who are ready to bash on it before they've even read it.
Yeah, okay. And so the reason it got brought up is because my husband, he does some like reviews and stuff and some previews for Webtoons Unscrolled. And so volume 4, so they've been printing the Boyfriend series. So they've been like putting it, you showed your print. So my husband has
only 3
volume
out to the public.
4.
I didn't even realize that was volume 4 that
this is volume 4. Yeah.
Oh my god, it has Jock on it. So we've got all of our characters on a cover now. That is so exciting. I'm so jealous. When he opens that, you need to be sending me previews.
I know. It's so stinking cute. I've been reading it on Webtoons ever since like you had mentioned. You're like, "Oh yeah, check it out and we'll talk about it." And I've been like consuming it. I'm probably most of the way through the second printed volume, which is like each volume's like 50 episodes,
something like that. Yeah, and it calls them chapters in the book, but I know that's not, I don't think that's how it is on the Webtoons. But it is a really large ongoing series, and I believe it's still ongoing. It definitely hasn't wrapped up yet, has it?
I pulled up the wiki from Webtoons, and it says that they're on hiatus.
Okay, that makes sense.
Like, I'm scrolling, and there is currently... And the episodes go by really quick. Like, super duper quick. But there's, let's see, 200 episodes available. They are on hiatus, but it says in note that Boyfriends will return. So that means that this 4th print is, like, will catch them up to everything that's been released on, like, digital Webtoons.
That's nice, because I'm only reading this in physical, and I just, like... It's so hard
I love
for
that.
me.
Yeah.
It's so hard for me to decide which ones I'm going to collect physically and which ones I'll read online. But these ones were so obvious, and they're one of the first series I saw just because the pink boyfriends like jumped off the shelf when I was starting to collect. I was like, well, first of all, you don't even need a tag or a label on this that says it's BL because it's so clearly BL. And I knew I needed to have it in my hands, but it's been really hard at the end of each book to just hold off and wait.
To not open webtoons immediately.
Yes.
I feel the same way about the series, like the printed webtoons that like I read. I'm like, no, I won't go on. I will say that I read See You in My 19th Life on like the physicals, and I was like, man, this is so good. Like it was like a straight romance, but it was like it had this like mystery aspect to it where like this girl, she could remember all of her past lives, and she was up to like her 19th one or her 18th one, and she like died protecting this guy, and then she was like, I'll find you in my next life. And it was just like this, it was super intense, but I was like, no, I simply cannot wait, this will take too long to print. And so so kudos to you, because it wasn't me. It couldn't be me.
One thing I think that's easier about this series is that the plot is really low stakes. There's like no plot. So if it was a murder mystery, which is like one of my favorite genres, there's no way I would be able to.
Okay.
No way.
Yeah, it's giving, and there is, so for the See You in My 19th Life, there is a K-drama for it too, and it perfectly fits into K-drama. So like, it's so good. So to your point about the plot, before we get into it, why don't you give a synopsis for anyone who hasn't heard of Boyfriends? Like, if they go to check it out, like, what are they getting into?
Absolutely. So Boyfriends is going to center around 4 main characters. And I would say that the most main character is probably Goth. I think he gets a little bit of the most screen time, and this author does have a Patreon, and I do think that this Goth character is informed a lot by their own history and their own story. So I would say this character is maybe a little bit autobiographical. So Goth is going to be roommates with Prep, and they are longtime childhood friends. Goth is a video game playing art major who is very broody and obviously gothic. And then Prep, he's like a poli-sci major, and he's rich, and he definitely knows that he's gay. And then as far as Goth goes, Goth is a trans man who is also gay and a little bit less, I would say, interested in like the dating world because he's always had a crush on his childhood best friend, Prep. So when they get to college, they're rooming together, and Prep is obsessed with finding another boyfriend, and Goth is obsessed with getting Prep to just kind of calm down and chill out a little bit. At the same time, he wouldn't mind if he got some affection returned, but he doesn't press it. He doesn't want to risk their friendship. So as they're going through their college days, Prep is whining and moaning about not being able to find a boyfriend, and Goth is trying to make a point to him that it's not as hard or as important as he's making it out to be. You can just pick anybody off campus, and that's when they run into Nerd. And Nerd might be my favorite little character. Oh my gosh, I love that you have this visual aid. This is perfect. Yeah. So, Nerd is a femboy, and he is, I would say, androgynous. What do we have a specific term for him?
Wait, hold on. I have that. Hold on. Here we go. These are the character bios.
Amazing.
With their genders and sexualities.
Amazing. Except for, so he's male-leaning. So he's definitely a non-binary femboy. I think his flag, like, we see an actual femboy flag, which I didn't know that was, like, a proper flag. But I think that might have been a special art that the artist did for their Patreon. So Nerd is hanging out. He's definitely gay. And he's hanging out in the campus square. He fumbles his bag, I think, and drops his bag, and Goth walks over, helps him pick it up, and asks him out, and immediately they start dating. Prep is annoyed by how easy that was for Goth after he's been whining and moaning about it, and he runs into Jock, and all of them have names. So you can see right here, their names are on the other sheet you had. They each have a name. So yeah, let's see. Vincent, Felix, Adrian, and Kevin. And one huge misconception about this story is that the author didn't name any of the characters because they just stereotyped the characters so hard. And I take great offense to that because they did name the characters, but for ease of reading and because the style is so bubbly and the plot is so light, I think that getting away with nicknaming the characters is really easy on the audience. So we have Prep bumping into Jock. I think Jock like throws a ball at his head or something like that, and on accident, and they meet up and they end up connecting and going on a little date, and then the four of them end up interacting and realizing that the attraction goes four ways, and all of them have sparks between each other in different ways. And so we have Prep and who is it? No, it's Goth and Nerd. So Goth and Nerd is very knows himself very well. I don't know.
Nerd is the catalyst.
He's absolutely the catalyst.
Yeah.
And I don't know on your channel, how careful do I need to be? Can I say he's the kinkiest?
Oh, we nearly showed full detailed peens once, so use whatever language you like.
So Nerd, while he looks the most innocent, he is absolutely the kinkiest. He has got it all up in his head how this could work out, and he introduces the dynamic to Goth pretty quickly that he has felt some feelings when around Jock and Prep, and he would love to explore that a little bit. And Goth is really, he's a service dom, so he really wants everyone around him to be happy and fulfilled. And so he's happy to let Prep or to let Nerd explore whatever he wants to explore with these other people. So he asks
to really
him,
let their relationship be like what like Nerd is proposing. He's like, I've never done that before, but I'm interested because as you mentioned before, he had a thing for Prep, aka his roommate, aka childhood best friend anyway, and he's like, oh, if they're together and we're together and we become together, I'm in.
Exactly. He's like, this has left a door open for me to explore things with my best friend and also keep seeing where things will go with us. Yeah. So it really has this beautiful breath of fresh air where everybody is communicating really well with each other and expressing their wants and needs without any sense of shame or societal pressure to abide by certain standards or certain norms. So I really loved that. You know, once Nerd expresses this interest, Goth opens the door to trying it out, and then they end up going on a double date and proposing, testing out this dynamic with the other couple, and all four of them happen to be interested in it. And it does make you think, if people in real life were that open with their feelings, what diverse and different relationships and dynamics we would see. It's just people are so scared to be themselves or try new things or open up their heart to being vulnerable like that. And in this story, there's just none of those walls up. Everyone is really ready to explore what will make each other happy in service of each other and in service of their own wants and desires. It's so beautiful.
I think what was so cool is that, like, the way that they handled, like, this becoming, like, a polycule, I believe, is, like, they were very clear and upfront in the beginning about the expectations, communications, and there's a huge misunderstanding by people who aren't familiar with it that, like, if you're, like, polyamorous, then you can just date whoever you want. That's simply not the case. And they address that, too. They're like, hey, like, I only like you guys, like us together, this is who I like and I have feelings for. I would be upset if, you know, you were to go out with or be with someone else. Like, and so they draw the line, like, they're very open, like I said, with communication. They set boundaries, they follow those boundaries, they support each other, like, equally. Like, they get like jealous of each other in some ways, but, like, it's like a cute jealous, and then they all end up, like, cuddling together and stuff. Like, it's so wholesome. And, like, I know you had mentioned earlier too, where it's like, oh, the pacing is slow. Based on the wiki, it's because it's a slice of life.
Yeah,
like, it's not technically like this, like, deep story. People are like, oh, well, it just kind of goes on and never does anything. Well, yeah, it's a slice of life.
Yeah,
like,
it's
literally
not a drama.
that's how any slice of life is.
It's absolutely not a drama. There's really no drama happening between them. They have like little like tests they have to study for that, you know, they have anxieties about, but there's nothing really progressing the plot along other than them discovering themselves and finding love with each other. And that's a total slice of life romance. They're, like you said, they're closed polycule. They're closed quad, I think is what it's called. And I don't know if they state that directly in the book or if it's something that the artist has talked about on Patreon, but they like give it a name. It's a closed quad, I think. And they're not looking for anybody else. So it's not like we're spending these volumes going out onto campus looking for other people to like have an orgy with. Like there's no drama like that. Honestly, there's no smut in any of these books. It is devoid of much.
You see like forehead kisses. You don't even see like full mouth smooches. I think it's just like cheek and like forehead kisses, and then everything else is like hidden behind like something.
It's super friendly. It's an all ages story. They've got an 18 plus on the back here, but I don't know why, because their only way you can see anything that's close to inappropriate is through the Patreon, and the Patreon releases like one not safe for work art every couple months. It's not heavy. I think she might only have 4 or 5 chapters on there that are not safe for work, and that's within 200 chapters. So a huge argument online is that this is sexualizing and fetishizing polyamorous people, which I like just have a huge problem with. First of all, polyamorous people are not like a marginalized group. It's just a way of life. It's a lifestyle. And these, I do not find that any of them are being fetishized or sexualized. They are cute little chibi drawings. And like I said, if you wanted to see, oh look, there's one kiss. Like that's as cutesy as it gets. It doesn't get raunchy at all in these.
Oh, I'm wondering if it's
volumes.
18 plus because of like the implied drug use.
Oh yeah, because Goth is a pothead and he smokes cigarettes too, and that's probably definitely what it is. And other than that, there's nothing going on here that is like really adult coded other than dating. Like it's implied that they all date and they go on dates. That's the whole I don't know, lifeblood of this story is them going to the fair and them going to the diner and them going to meet each other's parents.
It's wild to me that like Fourth Wing is technically YA and this is 18 plus.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. People are so harsh and critical on BL, and it reeks of homophobia. If you are going to allow for romance between two straight people at 18, 19, 20 years old, and then not allow for it between two men who are in college who are 18, 19, 20 years old, if you're going to say that it's fetishizing these characters because they're both men, what you're really trying to do is bury the story and allow for the mainstream heteronormative stories to continue to take the front burner for everybody in their minds. And I just really disagree with that. And I'm so glad that you bring that up, because in written fiction, maybe it's because there's no pictures right there in front of anybody, but there's way raunchier stuff that people get away with. I mean, I would argue Twilight is totally based in purity culture and all they're ever thinking about is banging. Like, so I don't understand how something like this can be so misconstrued and misunderstood.
It's crazy. Like, have you read Fourth Wing? Not to make this a Fourth Wing conversation.
I haven't read Fourth Wing yet.
There's like a scene where like the guy, he like crouches down in a chair and he props her legs up on the arms of the chair, and it's like described what's happening, and like that's YA.
I did not know that was a YA book. I absolutely thought it was like adult romantasy.
So I think technically A Court of Thorn and Roses is also technically YA.
That is insane if that's true, because it truly is smut. Like, it is smutty. Yeah. And I love ACOTAR. It helped me get back into reading novels, but it is just like, it's a lot of smut. And I love smut, but I just hate that people pretend like like BL is fetishizing the queer community, but we aren't fetishizing the hetero community when we read their stories. And the whole thing is humans are sexual beings. We are sexualized because we're sexual beings. We wouldn't exist if we weren't. And that part of our life and that part of our story gets to be told in fiction. So limiting that to one kind of couple is insane. And
I want it on the record that I'm listening to and I'm reading and consuming every type of smut.
All of them. Absolutely I am. I don't discriminate. That's the whole issue here is people want
Equal opportunity smut reader. Here.
Exactly. People want to discriminate against these genres, and I'm just like, it would be so whack if people turned the other way and said that it was fetishizing and sexualizing of you to read heteronormative stuff. Like we never have that argument because it's not a valid argument. So what you're really saying is that you're uncomfortable with gay love, and that is different than people fetishizing it. So it's an interesting conversation to have, and it is crazy to me that this is the story that people have taken such issue and have such big qualms with.
Wholesome. This shit is so fucking wholesome. This was the first like written BL media that my husband consumed, and like he's I mean, granted he's reading it, he's got the preview that he's gonna do, but like he's like he never even like once like came to me and was like, oh, like can you like, it was just because it's so clean and wholesome that he was just kind of like, yeah, I'm reading it, whatever, like, yeah, it's a romance slice of life, yeah.
And if you appreciate art, it has one of the most like unique and recognizable art styles.
God, this is so freaking cute.
It's so freaking cute, and the color palette, like all of the pastels are so eye-catching. It's brilliant. It's so wonderfully done. I know the other issues that people have with this series, really, the whole series is about these four dating each other, coming out to their parents, passing their college grades. That's the whole heart of it. If you want to read any of the spicy stuff where they learn more about their sexuality, you can go to the artist's Patreon, which I subscribe to, and I think it's a wonderful Patreon. And that goes much deeper into kind of the characters' growth as far as finding themselves. And there's one special chapter that the artist released all about their own asexuality and transness, and how they're both trans, masc, and asexual, and how both of those things have informed each other, how they don't know if being trans has made them more asexual because they're less inclined. They don't want bottom surgery. The character Goth in this story does not want bottom surgery, which is a completely valid choice. And that conversation is delved into. And one huge argument people like to make is that the trans character is fetishized, and that character being asexual is fetishized. And it is crazy to me that somebody who's lived those experiences is not allowed to tell their own story and speak their own truth and educate people through these very wholesome characters on the ways somebody can be both asexual and sexually active, as well as trans and asexual. There's none of these things are mutually exclusive, and we all contain multitudes. So it's been very interesting to hear people's opinions on that while they aren't even reading the story.
And it's crazy to me too, because like it's the implication that like, oh, you can only write media that you identify with, and it's like first of all, like, I have read Morning Glory Milking Farm, and like I know the author has never been a centaur before. I have it on good authority that she is not. But like, you know what I mean? And so like a lot of BL is written by female mangakas, and it's just like, it is crazy to me that like a trans person can't write about like being trans, and someone who's ace can't, like, but then like they're hyper criticized, like, oh, well, you're trans, so you're not allowed to write about being gay. Well, like, what do you mean?
Exactly. And that is the argument people are having online, which strikes me as completely wild. And it is really
it's transphobic.
And it is really closing off the conversation for asexual people as well. Like, yes. If you find yourself to be asexual in a world full of sexualities and a world full of sexualness, and you find yourself participating in that regardless of the fact that you are ace, and you find where you fit into that dynamic, and you want to talk about that and relay that experience, I think a lot of people could probably relate to that, and you're limiting the people who can be reached by putting these crazy boundaries up around and boxes around people's sexuality and their identities. And I think when we let people fully explore that in fiction, writing about their own stories or possible stories or thoughts they've had or identities they've explored, even if they're not the identities they've landed on, that is what fiction is all about. It gives us the multitude of lives that we're not able to fully live all at once on our own. We get to live vicariously through these characters, and sometimes we get to flesh out our problems and our questions and our concerns through writing and through reading. So I think the more freedom we give to each other to explore those, the better.
It also creates a sense of normalcy where it might otherwise be lacking. So you might have someone who's like confused and doesn't realize that certain sexualities or gender identities are options, but for them to be able to consume media where like they can see these characters exist in their own world, but to be like, oh, I didn't realize that, like, you know, I see that this character's feeling that way. That's how I felt. Like, is that why, like, I felt the way that I have for so long? And so it allows people to, like you said, like, find themselves in a world where they didn't know that they were lost.
Absolutely. And I have learned so much from this artist reading through their special chapters and the moments where they've delved into that autobiographical side of their character. They do admit like Goth has a lot of the same characteristics that they have, and it's helped them to not only communicate with the outside world what they're going through and how they feel, but also has helped them understand themselves. So like the simple fact of not wanting bottom surgery as a trans person, it's not something that's talked about often, and it would be seen outside of what people are starting to now understand as like a trans journey. When you think about that from start to finish, you might have one stereotypical journey in your mind, and this person is opening up their world and showing you that there's another option. And there might be a young person out there who is thinking to themselves that they're trans, but they don't want to go through surgeries, and that they would like to, you know, opt out of certain parts of that journey. And now they have a role model that they can look up to, and even a character in a book who resembles them and is representation to what their future could look like. And I think that's so beautiful. So I have a really hard time hearing that hate on the internet. That I have a couple of videos where my husband literally in one of these videos hands me the volume 3, this adorable volume with a nerd on it. And then right afterwards, he hands me volume 6 of The Titan's Bride. And I will tell you, the amount of hate comments I get for boyfriends completely outweighs the amount of hate comments I get for The Titan's Bride, which I would say is a problem. There are problems you can find with The Titan's Bride. I don't have problems with them, but I would say that story I would expect to be a lot more controversial than this story about 4 college students who all have a completely wholesome love story.
Speaking of 4 college students, there's actually 8.
Because of the girls!
Because there's also girls!
The girlfriends. So this author really has done their work to be representative of everybody they can think of, including the entire flip side of this friend group, which is the girlfriends group.
Let's go through the girls. Okay, wait. Let's start with Jock.
Gorgeous. So this is going to be Jock's sister. Is that right?
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. So,
yes.
And she is, let's see, does she have her flag? Is she bi as well?
Yeah. Oh no, Prep is, I had them in the wrong order. Jock is pan.
Jock is pan. So yeah, we've got pan representation. We have trans, we have bi, we have gay, we have femboy, we have ace.
Intersex.
Intersex,
like it's
everything.
Yeah.
Let's see, I wish I understood all the flags better.
So we've got bi, trans, lesbian, intersex, pan, This one I think is ace because
Yeah.
it's also ace for
Goth.
goth, and then these are just gay. Yeah, so a myriad of flag options and like combinations too.
And all these characters were born in the 90s. There's no argument
Except
that these...
for Nerd.
Okay, Nerd was born in 2000, but
Boyfriend.
today Nerd would be 25.
Nerd boyfriend. Yeah. Right.
And
But yeah,
in the
you bring like
story, he
90s,
starts
early
out-
2000. Yeah.
And in the story, he starts out 19 or 20 as like the youngest character. So there's no issues with age gaps here. They've really shown us everything we could want to see in representation as far as who these characters, how they identify, and who we could find ourselves in the story.
I also love the variety of ethnicities.
Oh, yeah.
For the characters as well.
The
So
artist
for
has
those that
stated-
aren't, so for those that are listening, as we go through, like, for the boyfriends, Prep is Chinese Singaporean, Goth is Chinese, Nerd is Japanese, Jock is Vietnamese, and for the girlfriends, like obviously Jock is Vietnamese, as you know, girlfriend Jock is boyfriend Jock's sister. Nerd is Filipino, Goth is Indonesian, and Prep is Korean.
And then the author has stated, because they've been asked if this is set in a certain country, and he said, no, it's set on Mars. So it's really fun. It's really fun because we have all of this diversity, and it's set on a college campus, which should already be a very diverse place. So we've really opened up the door to everything is possible, and there is no norm here. We're able to explore every avenue and see ourselves in all these different characters.
I'll also say in the character profiles that they released, I love that it also has their age. So like we show here that Nerd starts out as 19, that's fine. But it like shows their star sign. So like Nerd is a Gemini, and like, yeah, that tracks.
I don't know if I've ever paid attention to that before. I love that.
Okay, yeah, so that was my very first note that I wrote down is like, wow, 4 boyfriends and no fire sign.
Is that right? No wonder.
Yeah.
No wonder it works.
But I don't think that there's a fire sign in the girlfriends. Oh, no, there's an Aries. So girl Nerd is an Aries, but that is the only fire sign in any of them.
I'm furious about the lack of Leo representation.
That was basically what I was saying, but I was like trying to loop it in by saying fire sign so that I wasn't like over Leoing the situation. But that was really...
We can be biased, and we're biased right here with there should be a Leo. There should be a Leo. But none of them do act like Leos. I mean, Prep, no, he's not a Leo, but he does have the dramatics of one.
I love that Nerd girlfriend, because they have character like rankings and character stats, and so like Nerd has a number of OTPs, and she's got 5 out of 5. And then like her other like stats are like typing speed and average kudos per fic because she writes fanfic.
It's got the little AO3s.
And it's got the AO3s, and so peak. I mean, these are all just like, and they're all so cute, and like the amount of detail that goes into even just creating these character cards it's so good. There's also like a little bit of, I feel like there was another visual that I had that like had like the backstories on the characters, but like going back through girlfriends, girlfriend Jock is boyfriend Jock's sister. Prep used to date Prep, and now they are like nemesis.
Yeah, they're both like presidents of their school club somehow, and they're like rivals.
I love that girlfriend Prep is a law major and boyfriend Prep is a business major. But Prep is the girlfriend Prep is also a streamer, and sometimes she streams with boyfriend Goth, and it's super cute. Nerd, since she does fanfic, has been drawing like fanfic of the boyfriends as a commission for boyfriend Nerd, and then goth girlfriend. Honestly, she's a baddie.
I was gonna say, who would be your delusional boyfriend? So on my channel, I have to choose a delusional boyfriend at the end of every series that we go through, whether that's manga, manhwa, or anime, or romance novel. And every time I ask Val this question on the anime episodes, she just like clams up. Who would you, of the 8, who would be your delusional
No, I'm
boyfriend?
having gay panic now. So I'm gonna be honest. I think it is girlfriend prep.
Girlfriend prep. Mine would be girlfriend goth. Girlfriend goth is such a little hottie totty. And then
Yeah.
if I had to choose a boyfriend, I would definitely pick Nerd. Nerd is like he's so spicy. He's so spicy, and I just love that.
I also love that he's an astronomy and math like double major.
And he's
That's
like
cool.
kind of struggling with his classes because he just wants to hang out with his boyfriends all day, and he also wants to get both of those majors, so he's like spreading himself so thin. He's a total Gemini.
Honestly, yeah. And then if I had to pick a boy, it would probably be Jock. He's just like his good boy level is a 5 out of 5, which honestly, yeah. Also,
Yeah.
he's got 4 out of 5 TikTok followers. But he's just like so observant and thoughtful when it comes to his boyfriends. And then also the way that in one of the episodes, his mom was like, come visit. And he's like, okay, can I bring my boyfriends? And she was like, yeah. So then he brought all of his boyfriends to meet his mom. And then that's where
so
we met
open.
his sister. It's so pure and like wholesome and good. And I don't understand how anyone could like hate on this.
Yeah, the angst level is at 0 for this. Everything they do is so fluffy and accepting and happy. And with a world full of so much discrimination and hate, it's nice to have a story where we don't have a ton of those plot lines where people are getting beaten down. In fact, they're all lifting each other up. Even the characters who are like rivals or nemesis, they in the end are friends. They're all along make sure that each other are taken care of and that they're included, and it's just really, really sweet. I know one problem people have with this artist is that I think they drew some K-pop idol in a not safe for work drawing, and
They
the K-pop
did some not safe for work BTS fan
art. But I think the artist themselves was very young.
They were 14.
So it was a mistake for sure, but it's also something that I'm not sure you can expect a 14-year-old to have
it's
a
horny
perfect
teen
moral
behavior.
compass.
The frontal lobe is like fully underdeveloped.
Yeah,
like,
and I'm not sure that those kinds of laws or those kinds of problematic content have the same impact on you when you're also underage. Like, I just don't think you're thinking about who else is going to see that. And I think they learn from it, and I don't think they'll ever escape that reputation as is seen by all this hate. And I think that's a real shame that an artist, when you see an artist and you go through their journey and you follow them into fame and you watch them go from being inexperienced and a rookie to being seen on a worldwide stage, you expect them to not only have an art glow up, but to grow as a person. And, this artist wears a mask full time so that they're not constantly harassed. And I would say that you have to let people apologize and grow, and the cancel culture can get really out of hand. And for some people, of course, I wish that they would be removed from the public eye because they're harmful. I do not think that this artist is harmful. I think, in fact, that their work spreads love and acceptance throughout the world, and that is what art is meant to do.
I mean, so they're getting like crucified for something they did as a young teen. Again, no prefrontal cortex, which is, for those anatomy nerds out there, humor me, I think I'm getting this right. The prefrontal, like, front part of the brain is basically the part of the brain that processes like risks and understands like the risk punishment risk reward, like basically you can present a teenager with a, if you will do this bad thing will happen to you. They'll go, what? Because they can't, that part of the brain literally is not there. And so they're like, I know you're saying that's gonna happen, but I don't care.
Yeah.
And so like risks don't exist, and like there's no like deeper level understanding of the implications of their actions. That's just a teen thing.
Yeah.
And anatomically speaking, like, and so like I've got beef with that, but especially when you consider that they're also being accused of like basically stepping out of their lane and writing things that they don't deserve to be writing. But it's like they're doing so much for a community when they're like, I don't want to say their competition because it's a totally different story, but like if you think of things like J.K. Rowling being out there and being like openly transphobic,
Yes.
and like all of this the other problematic things that JK is, but like she's still allowed to have major theme park contracts and like all this other stuff when she's been extremely detrimental to so many different communities.
And everything she's said that was controversial, which I'll just call hateful, every hateful thing she said as a full-grown middle-aged adult. Mm-hmm. It was not a mistake she made as a teenager. And
she said it with her whole heart.
Her whole chest. And if I mean, as a teenager, I was awful. I was a gremlin, and I'm so glad that I was not also trying to be a public artist and trying to share my music or my drawings with the world. At the same time, they're looking at the crap that I like, my poetry I'm writing on Facebook that's, you know, full of nonsense. I feel so bad that this artist had that experience, and it wasn't just them showing a drawing they made of an idol they liked to their friend. They had unfortunately a platform as a teenager, like many of these YouTubers did when they were young. And when you are that age and you have an audience, that audience will remember. And I did not know this artist at that time. I was introduced to this artist as an adult and as they are an adult, and I can't see a single thing that they've done wrong. And I wish that we could, just like you have your juvenile record expunged if you've committed a crime, I feel like this author should get a fresh start and people should read this story. If you want to read the story and then tell me that they're fetishizing or sexualizing or harming anybody, you're welcome to your opinion. But if you have not read the story, if you haven't actually invested your time in this person's artwork, don't just jump on the bandwagon of what other people are saying to hate on it, because I do think it's perpetuating just trans hate. I think that's what it is. Yeah. And to say that a trans man is not a part of the gay community is absolutely offensive. And so for this artist to be trans, to be gay, to be ace, and to talk about all of that openly, they're as big a part of the queer community as anybody. There's no hierarchy here. It's all one big rainbow flag, and everyone fits under it. And once you start gatekeeping that, you're the problem. So I hope people can see that and take a step back and let this person live. And then if they give their art a chance, maybe they'll also find something they really enjoy about it.
Yeah, when I was like trying to read up on like, because I read it and I was like, you had mentioned to me before that there was some controversy, and I was like, all right, let me read this. And I'm reading it and I'm like, where is it at though? So then I'm like going into the Reddit forums and I'm going onto the wiki pages, and like one of the top Google searches was like, why, like basically like, why do people have beef with boyfriends? Yes. But one Reddit feed that I found, this is from like 3 years ago, someone's like, once again, a trans person who creates content centered around positive messaging, and in their case, it's decent communication and proper consent, in a style that's not everyone's cup of tea, gains moderate success, is soon vilified to hell and back over relatively minor transgressions from years ago, piled on by other queer people making bad faith criticisms about how they're, quote, doing queer wrong, and transphobes and homophobes are worming their way into discussions to express their ironic and sometimes straightforward homophobia and transphobia, along with accusations of fetishization. Exactly. And then this person's like, for fuck's sake, like, we can't have anything nice.
I want to read the pinned comment on that one video, because I was like, you get the pin because you're the first person to comment something intellectual about this issue. It was Let's see here. The people hating on boyfriends in the comments jumped on a racist, transphobic bandwagon that they don't even understand. The amount of vile hate and transphobia the author has received for writing a cute story with character archetypes, not stereotypes, archetypes, learn the difference, about his own experiences is astounding. Mm-hmm. You get the pin. And then the rest of the comments are just filled with awful, awful, awful accusations. And then one thing, when people will admit that they haven't read the story and that what the artist has done is not actually cancelable, they'll just go, well, the story's cringe. It's cringe.
It kind of is, but I like it. So who the fuck cares?
To be cringe is to be free, and cringe is not a crime. And I will give this to the haters. Did you watch the animated Boyfriends?
There's an animated?
Unfortunately, there is 3 1 minute long, a promo. I don't know, maybe you call that OVA, I'm not sure what you would call it, but let me tell you the chalky milk of it all. When one of the characters says the phrase, "Do you want some chalky milk?" It did want me. I almost threw myself into traffic. I almost did. And I get it. If you watched that and that's your perception of boyfriends, it is cringe. It is rightfully cringe.
I'm cringe because I also sometimes just want a chalky milk, though.
A chalky milk.
Sometimes you just do be wanting a chalky milk, though, and I can't hold that against them.
I can't hold that against them. I so badly need you to watch these because it is maybe the only valid criticism is that these are rough. I think it's called what does she call, or he call it mochi mochi, something like that. And they had just sent out an email through the Patreon saying that they were back up. So I don't know if they had taken them down or what, but people were absolutely offended by the voice acting and by the scene that they chose to animate because it's so dorky. But the thing about this whole niche is don't be afraid to like what you like. And these characters are not afraid to be themselves. They're nerdy, they're jockey, they're preppy, they're goth, they're emo, they're all of those things unapologetically. And if we could all just be those things on our own unapologetically, if we could be a little cringe, life would be better.
Okay, was it a fan animation or
Nope,
was it
it's official? Let me see. Boyfriends, mochi, what's that what it is called? Animated. Refrainbow.
Okay, because I found some fan animations that were actually really fucking cute, and they're just animations of 1 or 2 episodes at once.
Ooh, is this playing noise on your end? Hold on.
I don't hear anything.
Let me see if I found it. Okay, so definitely if you type in Boyfriends Episode 1 Webtoon dub, it shows. Oh, wait, this isn't even... No, this is not even it. This is,
That's
you said, a fan thing.
Yeah, and the fandoms are super cute. Fake news until I
will find it
the
for
chalky
you.
milk.
I'll find it for you because it very well might be something you can only find on the Patreon now. I wonder if they took it down and made it Patreon only. But it was hard to watch, and that's as a fan. I hated the voice that they chose for one of the characters. It's for prep or for nerd, whichever. It was one of them, and it was a very annoying voice that we decided to go with. And I hate to critique a voice actor, but some voices are grating, and it was grating.
I'm gonna be honest. But that happens with anything. It's unfortunate that it happens in the setting where it's a smaller platform, but Oshinoko, the season 1 dub was horrendous. And to the point where my husband was like, do we have to watch it in English? He was like, it is causing me physical pain. And I'm like, hey, it's a new voice actor. They're learning. And the second season was better. But it's one of those things where it's that sort of thing can damn the animation.
It definitely can. But I would say that this author goes out of their way to provide as much content for their fans as possible. So constantly coming out. If you join the Patreon every month, you get artwork sent to you, and it's so stinking cute. They also did the artwork for Yaoi France, or what is it called? The Yaoi Con that's happening in Paris. They did the artwork for that, and then on top of that, they're constantly at cons and constantly coming up with new keychains, new prints, new merch. So the fact that they did the animation was just a fan service. Like, they're just giving the fans more of what they want. And I think that's really kind. I love an artist who is considerate of their consumer and trying to give them more of what they want, feeding them, if you will.
Yes. Okay. And it's just listed as YCon, but I assume it's short for YaoiCon for France.
YCon for France. And the art that they did is gorgeous. It's this like pastel outer space artwork. And I found it. I think that, discrediting an artist for the rest of their life for these extremely small discrepancies from earlier on in their career is rough. How cute is that?
It's so stinking cute, and you can tell the art style is really coming through. But oh my gosh, I want this outfit. I want that outfit.
I want that outfit. I want that girlfriend. I like that.
Yeah, I know, right? It's super cute. So for those listening, just Google search up YCon France and look up it's a galaxy art for it. It's super cute.
It's so cute. And this author, I don't know if we've said the author's name, but it's Refrainbow. And Refrainbow, you can find them on like all of the platforms. But this art style, I guess, did get really trendy when TikTok first came out. So like in 2020 around there, everyone was drawing their art or their OC in the style of boyfriends. So it reached this pinnacle of its popularity. And then that's when everybody really tried to cancel the artist. But that art style is it's so recognizable, so unique, and so fun that it seriously is one of my favorites.
So go through. So you said you're part of the Patreon. So you get like random art. You get access to different and like extra media. So whether it's videos or art, like
so you get
art.
to see all of their works in progress, which is really fun because you do get some hints at what's coming up in the next chapters. So if you're like dying and you can't wait, you get some sneak previews, and then on top of that you get bonus not safe for work chapters, which, like I said, I think there's 4 or 5, and I think that there will probably be enough for each character to interact with each other, which is really interesting. For example, you get to see Goth is a service dom who is super into BDSM, but is only ever on the dom side, never receiving, and doesn't take. They're an ace person. They're not taking like sexual gratification from that role, but they do like to serve in that role for their partner and be a part of their partner's intimate life, regardless of the fact that they themselves don't find sex to be extremely rewarding. They do find doming to be rewarding in this power dynamic sense. It's very interesting and it's really fun to watch it play out. And I'm trying to think of the spicy chapters, but like you get to see Jock Bottom, and it's like it flips a lot of your expectations on their heads. It's really worthwhile if you're, I hope the people listening to this are adults, but if you're an adult and you want to see the adult content, I would definitely suggest that you subscribe to the Patreon. Even if you want to read everything and not subscribe the next month, that's fine. But if you do subscribe the next month, you always get sent a monthly artwork, and I've been sent stickers as well. But I have like these ones I just pulled off my shelf.
Oh my gosh, they're so stinking cute.
They're so stinking cute. And then all of these, after a few months, they'll get released onto like the normal Webtoon store, I think. And then also the artist brings them to the artist alleys at the cons that they go to.
So what cons are going to be at?
They're just so stinking cute. I see on their Instagram that they're headed to a con like this week.
What was the mangaka's name again? Or the comic artist?
Refrainbow. Like this one I have. This one was a Challengers themed one. So it was like, isn't that so cute? With
oh my god, they're so cute. With prep.
With the two boys and girl prep.
Oh my god, yes.
So I really really love being part of this Patreon. I find it to be super rewarding. I also think it's really fun to be getting updates from the artist on where they're going to be, what chapters they're working on, if they're working on not safe for work dynamics. I want to say that in the story, we get the plot line of girl nerd drawing the mermaid fanfic of the boyfriends. So all 4 boyfriends are like being represented in this comic of hers. And I think in the Patreon, we got extra chapters of that.
That looked so cute when they were doing the preview of that.
This is so cute. The merch. I mean,
the Refrainbow merch, I've got it pulled up, and this boyfriend's ice cream crew neck sweatshirt is so cute. It's like goth as the main, but then all the other little boyfriends are like playing around and on top of an ice cream cone, and it's just super
goth is so cute to me, being like a little antisocial smoker who doesn't need to go to school but gets A's anyways. Like, everything about goth is so cute to me.
And look, it's got little like sleeve art too.
So freaking cute.
Like, look at the little chibis on the sleeve. Freaking adorable.
God.
I was gonna say earlier what I want, and like I'm not on the Patreon, so but I will likely be looking it up because it's just like what you've described. It's great, and I do want to support the artist because I do think that they're doing great things. I want a girlfriend spinoff.
I want the girlfriend spinoff so bad.
I want it so bad.
He's hinted at the fact that we will get more of the girlfriends. So I think that whether it's just side chapters or if they're going to get a full spinoff, either way, it would be so fun. And I mean, those characters have such strong personalities. They come in to help the boyfriends figure out their shtick because they've already been in a polycule for a while and they've got their stuff figured out a little bit. So I feel like it also opens the door for maybe a little bit more mature content because they're just like already settled into their dynamics with each other. I would love a spinoff of Girlfriends.
Yes. Oh my gosh, this little locket on I'm just like looking through the thing. I went to try to find if they were going to be at any cons, and then I got distracted by their shop because everything's so cutie.
It's so cute. It's hard to look away from. Let me see. I bet I can tell you right from their Instagram.
Oh, you know what? Let me check their X as well. I was gonna say while you're looking that up, I'll buy some time. So there was a term used that I had to look up, and it was morosexual, and I'd never heard of that before, and it was something that Goth was like, oh, I'm such a morosexual, and I was like, I don't know what that means. I'm gonna look it up. And it says that it's coined to describe sexual attraction to someone perceived as intellectually limited or stupid, and he was referring to prep. And it fucking killed me.
That's like all of us girls who love a himbo, though. Like,
yes.
Something about a dummy.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Okay, and then also, I think one of the characters, one of the girlfriends might be demisexual. So there's like truly... everybody is touched on.
A lot of spectrum here.
I can't find which con they're at right now, but I swear to God they're at a con like today. But yeah, they're all over the place. I have 2 little unopened arts. Should we open them?
Yay, let's do it.
Okay. So this is not my fault. I would have opened these right away, but my husband brought in like a month's worth of mail, and I guess he just hadn't been checking the mail. My passport was in there. So
my husband religiously checks the mail every single day.
We're not that kind of household. We run on chaos fumes alone. So every month we get one in like one of these little cardboards. So they're always protected. They're always really well packaged. See, like this one has a sticker in it.
I'm so excited. Oh my gosh. It's a holographic card too.
And it's like a fantasy of, is that prep?
Prep. It's prep, yeah.
Is it prep or is it nerd?
Oh, you're right.
I can't even tell which one it is.
It's so small body that you're right. It could be nerd.
It could be nerd also, just like the little eyes are kind of giving me nerd, but then this is a chibi.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it is because it's goth.
Okay, so this is like a goth fantasy villain type alternative universe.
You know what it's giving?
What?
It's giving Javik.
Do you think that's what it is?
That's the vibe that I'm catching from it. Hold on.
I mean, just like that alone.
Do you watch Arcane?
I am saving Arcane for a rainy day because I want to do a full review on all of the gay stuff happening.
Okay, because I was waiting for my girls to also watch it because I was also planning to do an Arcane episode because I'm also going to be doing at some point in the future an Arcane cosplay. I desperately want to cosplay as Vi because she is a buff lesbian baddie. And
I feel like you could do a really good Vi.
Thank you. And so I'm looking up. Okay, yeah, because here, let me show you this one. This is a fan art, but this is what I mean by saying, like, it's a JVic vibe. Tell me it's not.
No, that's what it is. It's a JVic alt universe with the boyfriends. That's exactly what it is. So that's what I mean. Like, the artist is not just doing their comic. They're doing their comic and then also feeding into all of the, like, delusion and the hype in these other fandoms and then
It's
getting
like
their
kind of
fans
a meta. It's like a meta delusion too, right? Where it's like, or it's like a slight implication that like the boyfriends are shipping JVic too. Like it's
Which they
so
would be.
good. They would. They absolutely
They
would.
would be like watching together and having little movie nights with their chalky milk.
I could totally see Nerd and Goth just like nerding out to Arcane and then shipping JVic. Like that's a canon event. It's like literally a canon event.
It's canon. It is. She made it. He made it canon. Ugh, I don't know why I do that. It's because so many BL authors are women that I'm used to using those pronouns, but it's really fun to have a male artist and author. And these are just like, they're sending me. They're so cute.
They're so cute. I'm so glad that I could be here to let you know that it's an Arcane mashup.
Me too. Otherwise, I've been like, this is some fantasy AU.
It's cute fantasy art. I mean, it is.
I absolutely love, I wonder if I can find it fast enough. I love the mermaid AU that he draws, that he has one of the girlfriends draw them in, because it's just, like, you get the boyfriend's universe, which is set on Mars or whatever, but then you also get these little bonuses where you get to see them in a fully different environment, and here it is. This, I would take this full, if they wrote this entire comic out, it's like Ursula character, and then we've got...
Goth is Ursula, and then Nerd as the Little Mermaid, and Jock as the Prince. And then, it's
probably my favorite chapter. It's so stinking cute. I want the one with him and his little tail. So, yeah, he's like fully a mermaid. Fully, we've got baddie Ursula. And I would take this whole story.
Wait, they dropped face cards? Did you get the face cards?
What does that mean?
Like the K-pop style face cards? Did you
think that's what's in here?
Okay, sorry if I spoiled it. Open it. I really hope it's face cards. Oh my god.
Okay, I would be so excited because I do not have any face cards.
Well, because what would be so wild about it too is that they could potentially drop them and certain people get certain characters and it create this trading market where people are trading their different face cards of the different boyfriends and the different styles. And now I'm so excited.
That could be it because it's not this. So maybe it is still going to be.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. I'm kind of mad that I didn't wear my other shirt now because I have this purple shirt, which I've still got to send you all the extra ones that I got. I remembered what I did. I bought this Hot Topic order of all this boyfriend's merch that was on super clearance, and then I forgot that I ordered it and ordered it again. So that's why I got everything.
Oh
but I had gotten it in 2 sizes, and one of these shirts is a purple shirt with them all playing a Pac-Man game. Because they're a bunch of video game nerds.
Oh
so this is
gosh, that's so cute.
a chibi art. And is that the Space Needle?
Yeah. I think it is.
This must have been specific to maybe a Seattle con. What do they have, Sakura con or something like that?
Yeah, it probably was Sakura con.
That's my guess. Look, and it's holographic too. All chibis, super stinking cute. We've got Prep in a crop top. The thing I love about Nerd is that Nerd has a different hair color all of the time. He does not have one hair color, and his hair changes. Here we've got blue-haired nerd, then pink-haired nerd, back to blue-haired nerd. He does everything with his hair, and it's just absolutely stinking adorable. So now I've got these new, I want that face card. I want all 4 of those face cards now.
I'm just on Blue Sky, and my gosh, I don't know where this person got them. It doesn't say. Let me check the comments. Oh no, it makes me have an account. I don't have a Blue Sky account. Also, I see that some people have the printed versions of the 18 plus comics. I assume they get them at conventions. Here, I'll show you.
Maybe, or they're doing it bootleg.
This is not. Look. Yeah.
I need those chapters because they're good. I will say that they're very spicy. I still don't understand how anyone can be mad about it when they're behind a paywall and the rest of the 200 chapters are not spicy. I need to find those and buy those.
Also, you've got to figure out where these face cards are because...
And are they all just goth? Goth is serving. I'm sorry.
It really
no bad angles.
Honestly, I was like, did you specifically request this one? Because I can tell.
I would like the collar. Mascara. Oh my gosh.
Then there was something else on here. Yeah, so this person looks like they also... Oh, this is a boyfriend's learn to draw. That's super cute. Oh, then we actually have acrylics. They have a plushie.
I have never. I'm like, did we see any of that even on the merch on their website?
Mm-mm.
So it has to either be con specific. Hello.
Wait.
For anyone listening,
I wish I could zoom in.
For anyone listening, we've been caught off guard by a Prep X nerd or Prep X goth art of them. Like, what are they in a movie theater seat? No, they're in a car seat.
They're in a car. I saw this, but then I was immediately distracted by this bunny art version of Nerd.
Nerd is so precious, so stinking cute. Also, Nerd's side chapter is him drawn as an incubus. Is that the boy version?
I think so, yeah.
Incubus or succubus, whatever.
Yeah.
His spicy chapter is him like full on with an incubus tattoo and everything. And it is chef's kiss, full like white lacy lingerie, I believe. It is so nerd though. It's exactly what you would expect from him.
Oh, this is so cute. Yeah. Okay, wait.
They're so cute. So, if those... Oh, that is at a con. That looks like it's right at a con. Like, it's at a booth.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
And look at this. And they're requiring ID to verify age to allow purchase.
There's just, like, you can't... I have yet to find one thing this author is at fault for, except for maybe doing something creepy when they were kids.
Look at these cosplays.
That's freaking adorable.
Oh my god. Okay. So okay, so if anyone wants to know what we're squealing at, basically if you just search Refrainbow and then Blue Sky, click the first link and it's just a bunch of like Refrainbow posting and reposting other people's like posts and stuff, and so there's like some extra art there too, and there's like a Halloween post where it's their Jock and
Girl Prep.
So boyfriend Jock and girlfriend Prep are in like these cow print unitards, and it's giving milkers.
Yeah.
That's what I'm gonna say.
There's some spillage of the milk. It's very steamy. It's very, very steamy. I love that Jock is like such a manly man. He is bisexual, but he's not afraid to lean into...
He's such a softie, too, though.
Mm-hmm. And he has some, like, hand-me-down clothes from his sister that are, like, a little bit more feminine, and he's just not afraid. He's so comfortable in his masculinity that he's not afraid of fitting into any of these gender norms or stereotypes, and then that's why I love so much that he is not a top like you would expect him to be in the spicy chapters. He's really just feeling out whatever feels true and authentic to himself. And I love to see him in a little girly cowgirl outfit. That was
Absolutely
beautiful.
precious. Absolutely.
Beautiful. I didn't expect to become this big of a fan of this series, especially because it's not like as explicit as 99% of the stuff that I read, but I found these characters to be super endearing, and I love following their little journey of self-acceptance and exploration. And I would say that there's a shocking lack of poly stories in BL. And in romance in general. I read Why Choose Romance, so you get a lot more poly relationships. But I really like all of that being explored. And I like the idea that there could be a world this accepting that there's multiple polycules on one campus and they're all friends together.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is not the first like poly like comic, I'll say, because I read one manga. I didn't enjoy it. I didn't like the way that it was written, but like based off of there's nothing else like this as far as like the art style goes. But I was trying to think of like other like web series or manhwa or manga where it's like, oh, if you've already read this and you liked it, you should check out, or if you like read this other thing and you liked it, then you'll like Boyfriends. And I couldn't come up with anything because this one's just like so like unique.
It's so unique. And I trying to rack my brain for things that gave me a similar vibe. There's 2 webtoons that I want to start that I haven't started yet that both give me similar vibes to this. Just as far as like the coloring goes, I don't know if like webtoon series themselves just start to take on a little bit of a same flavor. But there's one story that I'm really wanting to start, which is called Abyss Reflections. And this is the art. Ooh. And it gives kind of some of that similar art. I wish you could see his coloring a little better there. That's a little easier. Anyway, so I've been really excited to start that one. It feels really wholesome. And then there's another one that I feel like has some similar wholesome vibes that I've been dying to check out that the Comic Queens podcast recommends, which is called The Reaper in the Waiting. So again, a webtoon series that I don't know, just it feels like it gives some of these same fluffy vibes. But as far as something that I have read that reminds me of Boyfriends, I don't know if it's because I am like a toxic girly who loves red flags or what, but there is so few stories that I can think of that give me this feeling. I wish I could describe it. It's like watching cartoons on a Saturday morning with a bowl of cereal. Like, it makes you feel happy, nostalgic, it's youthful, it's colorful, it just gives you this rush of serotonin just looking at the coloring in here. There's really nothing has struck me quite like this has struck me. And the fact that it's full color is really amazing.
It's so funny because I read MADK? And then I transitioned from that straight to this. And so it was like an absolute like brain cleanse because it's like 2 like polar opposite ends of like media consumption.
Opposite as you could get. Like that.
I think so.
MADK I loved so much, and where nobody is talking about how problematic MADK is.
Oh, it's super problematic.
Everybody wants to talk about how problematic Boyfriends is, and I'm just
blows my mind. Absolutely blows my mind.
Those 2 things are sitting on my shelf together, and if I had to put my money on which one I thought people would get mad about, it would never have been Boyfriends.
No.
And maybe that's what it is people, if something is outrightly controversial or outrightly grotesque or outrightly different, people are willing to give it that leeway. But when something is branding itself as like as happy for everybody and good for everybody, then people are quick to be like, it couldn't be 100% wholesome. It couldn't be 100% fluffy. And it really can be. And it's, honest to God, is.
It really is. Like, I'm trying to think of, it's the most wholesome shit I've read recently.
It's the most wholesome shit I've ever read. And
there's, like, when you said it earlier, you're like, there's no drama. There really is no drama.
No drama. And it is quite refreshing when in our normal day-to-day lives there's so much drama, and when you see a relationship that falls outside of the heteronormative standard, there's always drama around it. There's always people ready to pick up stones and throw them. And in this story, those characters don't exist. Those characters who would throw stones, they are nowhere to be seen. And you finally, for a moment, get to live in a world with no angst, with no drama, with no hate. And that is an escape from reality that we all need. And that's a fantasy, even if the rest of this isn't your fantasy, a world with no hate is a fantasy I think all of us can get behind. And if that's one you're actively rejecting, I do think you should take a good hard look at why that might be.
Yeah. Like, to your point, there's so many different, like, problematic, like, actually problematic things out there, but, like, this is not where people should be spending their energy. Like, it's...
No.
Blows my mind. So yeah, if you haven't read Boyfriends and you need a brain cleanse, or like if you really just want something super like happy and low stress, like go read Boyfriends. It's available on Webtoons. If you end up liking it, like go and support the author however you can. If you want to check for print versions, this is my shtick. Go to your public library, request at your public library if you want to read physicals. And that's another good way to make sure that it's more accessible to other folks, by like putting in those requests and making sure that the libraries are filled with good, wholesome media, so that not only adults like us, but also young folks can get exposure to like good representation as well. So support all artists also.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and so before we wrap up, I realized, Courtney, I never gave you the opportunity to actually like go through and explain like your podcast as a whole and the structure. Like it's so second nature to me. Like I just kind of like know it. And I'm like, oh, it's self-explanatory. It's the Delusional Boyfriend Bookclub. It's right there in the name. But go ahead and go through like the structure and maybe some like the way that your schedule works and stuff, so that people check you out, they know what to expect.
Thank you. Yeah. So I this year got the podcast up and running. I started posting about all of the romance reads that I was consuming last year in hopes of starting a podcast so that I could meet other people and build an audience of folks who like to read the same kind of stuff I like to watch the same kind of anime, and live dramas, movies, what have you. So I decided this year with the podcast that I would stick to a schedule where we read. It's our year in Yaoi, so I don't know if next year we'll branch out and do a year of Yuri or what have you. But for this year, every month we read a BL manga and watch a BL anime, and those podcast episodes covering those titles are released on the 5th of the month. And then we read a BL manhwa, which is released on the 15th. And then we read a Why Choose romance novel, which features 3 male leads and a female protagonist. And those male leads also have relationships with each other. So it's very much a polycule situation, much like what we've got going on here. And those episodes are released on the 25th of the month. And then there's always a blog to accompany the episode in that specific title as well. So if you're interested in any of that, joining along for BL Book Club, go check me out, Delusional Boyfriend Book Club or Delusional BF Book Club on all the socials. You can find the podcast in a video form on YouTube, and then we're super active just making memes and just kind of funny content on TikTok and Instagram, and that revolves around the book club reads, but it also goes into like popular reads that everyone's kind of keeping up to date with. So recently I've been making a lot of Hounds of Sisyphus content, and before that I am unfortunately in the Jinx fandom, so I make a lot of Jinx content, and I just find it to be a really fun outlet where you can yap about any of the romance reads or watches that you're currently going into at the moment. Please, if you have anything to recommend to me, please come over to the channel. Let me know what I should be checking out, what I should be talking about, and if there's anything I haven't covered, what we should put on the book club calendar for next year. I just got into the BL sphere about a year and a half ago, and so I'm kind of a BL baby, but it's been my hyperfixation for so long, and all I wanted were other friends who are hyperfixated on this. So meeting Val and other creators on the internet has been a dream come true, and having people write back or comment or let me know that they're listening to the podcast and that was a series they were excited to jump on the bandwagon as well, or it was a series that's always been their favorite, has been really exactly the conversation I was looking for. So if you guys want to be a part of that, come find me. And yeah, at the end, we always choose our delusional boyfriend, and I'm glad we got to do that today. It's always my favorite to narrow down and pick a husbando from every series. So yeah,
in this case, also a waifu.
A waifu, oftentimes a waifu. I think we both chose a waifu.
There's a waifu option. I'm like, wait a minute.
When we just did, please come check out the podcast episodes with Val on it. She just did an episode with me for Stranger by the Shore, or the Seaside Stranger.
Yeah.
It's got a couple names, but we both picked a waifu for that as well. And then we did a bonus episode on I Ship My Rival and Me. So there are some bonus episodes on there as well. So if you want to join book club, there's a calendar of all those reads for the year on my website and in my highlights on Instagram. So check it out if you want to. Val has agreed to do my anime episodes with me, so you can find her guesting on all of those once a month on the 5th. So yes, please do join. Yay. It's an open space for all.
First of all, I'm so excited and honored to be your regular guest this year for the anime episodes, but I also want to add that, like, the Delusional Boyfriend Book Club is so low stress because of the way that you have the episode structured. So, like, when you come into an episode, you get this, like, high-level overview with no spoilers of whatever the content was. So if you saw what the content was and you weren't quite sure about it, you can always listen in on the first couple of minutes, catch vibes, and then be like, ooh, wait, I actually do want to engage with this content. You can go read it and then pop back in and get the full synopsis and listen to Courtney yap or whoever else is on there with her yap about it, and you get to like experience it like right after you read it, or if you've listened to it for a while, you can just jump right into the episode. So make sure you check those out because, like I said, I love the structure. It's super low stress, but then also follow her on socials because the content is hilarious. And if you enjoy this stuff and if you enjoy like my content, Courtney is right up there. It's all in line. Like, I'll see something that she posts and I'll be like, I could have posted the same thing, and like, you know what I mean?
I feel like we're absolutely sister accounts and sister podcasts. Like, we're right in the same vein on everything. We've got very similar tastes, so I'm really fast to recommend Girls Gays Animes to anybody who finds my work, because I'm like, oh, if this is the kind of community you're looking for, that we have a neighbor cul-de-sac right next door with a podcast and gaming playthrough and funny memeable content as well. So it's been so fun to find each other and find our audiences and find so much overlap.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like I have the ADHD version of like yours is so like organized and structured, and I'm like, I think I'm gonna post about horror today, and then the next day I'll be like, okay, but horror BL, and then maybe BL, but then some GL, and then maybe horror again, and then like, oh, it's a game playthrough, and then I'll have like a guest come on and just like yap with me about like cosplaying or whatever. So I'm like all over the place. So if my content is too like crazy, also you need structure in your life, Courtney has that for you too. So
we have to. When on that topic, I have never read any Junji Ito, and I know
Ito's?
Yes, and I know it's one of your top authors. So one of these days, let's do a crossover horror episode, either on mine as a bonus episode or on yours as a horror episode, and I'll read one or watch one of the awful adaptations you've talked about, and we can dig into it because it is super fun that we have, like, our Venn diagram is almost just a circle, but there's certain parts like the gaming playthroughs and the horror manga that I'm not as in touch with. So I would absolutely love, I know we were talking before we were on the mic about doing a gaming playthrough of what was it called?
Dream Daddies, or there was some other like good like visual novel and like dating sim type of games, because Courtney's not a gamer, and I'm like, I have a game for you, the non-gamer, where you need no skills but your own personality to make it through these.
So I'm so excited to delve in and be introduced into those other aspects of your channel and your genre and your empire that you're building. So it will be so fun to explore those different territories with each other as our podcasts get more intertwined.
Yeah, it's crazy. So like, you liked MADK, and like I know there's like, it's it's very clearly a BL with horror elements. And then, like, have you read The Summer Hikaru Died?
I have 5 volumes collected, or 4 volumes, however many there are. I have them all collected,
There's
I believe.
5.
And I was going to start reading like now because the anime comes out on like the 26th. Is that right?
Yes.
It would be really fun to do like a watch through or a reaction or a review of like the first episode. So I will read them if we're gonna be topical and timely about this and
Yes.
do it for the release. Okay, that would be super, super fun to me.
Yes, absolutely. Because what I was getting at, I was like, all right, there's the horror, like MADK is horror, is a BL with horror elements. In my opinion, The Summer Hikaru Died, it's a horror manga with BL elements. But then, like, Junji Ito is just horror. But, like, some of his stuff is, like, horror. Like, he's got a book about cats. It's got, like, that's, like, a horror comedy to me.
Okay.
But then, like, yeah, a lot of it is just, like, not so much gory as it is, like you said, that, like, psychological horror. But you can see, like, depending on where you start, like, a lot of it pulls on, like, stylistically, like, Junji Ito, who's been, like, the king of horror for so long. And it's fun to see, like, to experience his stuff and then, like, see his elements, like, brought into, like, newer stuff. So I just geek out about, like, the different stuff like this, so it's cool. But yes, yeah, we should do something for The Summer Hikaru Died because I'm so excited, and I almost want to do, like you said, like a reaction, because
That would be really fun.
if it's bad, I'll cry on camera. I'll do it. Because I love it so much. It's so well done.
I have a feeling I'm going to cry anyways because it's sad, isn't it?
It's like, yeah, it's like deep. Yeah, because it's like, I don't know. There's feelings, and it's good. I'm so excited for you to read it.
Okay, well, I feel like everyone should absolutely look out for a crossover.
Yes.
Delusional Boyfriend Book Club, Girls Gays Anime, like Summer Hikaru Died episode coming up in the future.
Absolutely. TBD on the timeline. I gotta get all that worked out, but we'll post about it for sure. But in the meantime, again, thanks for tuning into Girls Gays Animes, where it's safe to love what you love and love who you love. Don't forget to check out Courtney and the Delusional Boyfriend Book Club, and as always, support your local libraries, support artists. Go out there and make these things accessible. I know times are hard for everyone, but we have to do our part, and even if it's consuming this type of media and supporting this type of media however we can, even if it's not financially, if it's just going out to, like I said, libraries and requesting things that you want to be more accessible for other folks to, go out and do what you can. We're out here doing the same. So that's a wrap for Girls Gays Animes. Thanks again for coming on today, Courtney. It's been a pleasure yapping with you, and thanks for saving your art openings for everyone. That was so fun to go through. I'm so excited.
Thank you so much for having me. I had an amazing time. I always love yapping with you. It just feels like being on FaceTime with a bestie. So anytime you want to do a crossover, I'm so open to it. And thank you all for listening. And make sure, if you haven't yet, to rate, review, and subscribe over on Girls Gays Animes and Delusional Boyfriend Book Club. Like Val said, if you aren't able to go out and do big old book buying hauls, it is always great to also support the creators who are trying to get this media in front of more eyes. So thank you so much for being here and listening along, and thanks for having me, and I can't wait until next time.
Yay, thanks everyone. Thanks, Courtney. Bye.
Bye.